Yo guys, what is going on? Today we're going to be talking about something a little different. I was playing a lot of my old favorite PlayStation 2 games recently on an emulator, and I found something really cool within Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monsters Coliseum that I wanted to show you guys. So what I was able to find is within that game, there's going to be 77 unused monsters that are in the game code. So, I'm going to show you guys first off how to get those monsters, and secondly, who some of those monsters are. So, we're going to go ahead and we want Codebreaker version 10, and we're going to boot. And we're not going to mess with the resolution too much. We'll kind of leave it at something reasonable. But I wanted to show you guys from the start, from scratch. I didn't want to have everything already booted up and ready. I want to show you guys how this all works. So we're going to boot into our code breaker. This is going to take just a minute. So as you can see, it says we have Shining Force selected. So we're going to let it scroll to the bottom. Now, one thing that I've found with not only this one, but a lot of the other cheating ISOs, you have to hold down R2 on your controller in order to be able to scroll these lists. Otherwise, it just goes to the bottom and you can't do anything. So, we're going to scroll up. Where is it? We're going to turn off Shining Force. Let's just go back to the bottom. Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monsters Coliseum is going to be the game we're going to be using. So, for these cheats, make sure that you have a save file already established, because you need an already established save file to make this work. So what we're going to do is we're going to enable code, because that's a master code it must be on. Also, these cheats should already be loaded into your emulator once you boot the ROM for the cheating device. If they're not, there are plenty of websites to go find them on. Just Google it. It'll be there. Usually I turn on infinite monster points, because that way I can pick any monsters I want for any battle in the game. And then I also turn on max infinite AP. That way, even when I do use a bunch of really strong monsters early in the game, I can still move them all. But last but not least, we're going to be doing View Monster Collection to have all monster cards. What this is going to do is this is going to give you 5 of every monster in the game, including the 77 monsters that aren't in the final cut. So we're going to do that. We're going to hit Start. Now we've got our game selected. We've got our cheat selected. What we're going to do is we're going to go to Start Game. Now we are emulating, so normally at this stage you would remove the disk, put it in the game. So what we're going to do is before we hit continue, we're going to go to our ISO selector. We're going to pick the game we're using, which is Capsule Monsters. We want to swap disk, not reset. Click back on this, press X, and that will boot up our Capsule Monsters with our cheats inserted. And this may take slightly longer than normal to boot. It does sometimes when you're booting in cheat codes and stuff. It really just depends. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you that, number one, it works and it gives you all the monsters, but I'm also going to show you some of these unused monsters. And I'm really surprised that some of these monsters didn't make it into the final game, because some of them are really, really good monsters. Now this is an alternate save file that I don't have this done on yet. My main save file I already have it done on, that's why we're booting into this one. Sorry about the yawning, guys. I'm a little tired. Stayed up too late last night. So we're going to go into our Manage Monsters. In order to get all of our monsters, we have to view the monster collection. So we're going to view our collection. And now, as you can see, our collection is complete. We have 100%, all 200 monsters. So now what we're going to do is I just want you guys to look at the screen for a minute. On this screen, I want you to look for Black Skull Dragon, which is the fusion between Summon Skull and Red Eyes Black Dragon. And as I'm sure any of you guys will notice, that monster is not there. That monster is not supposed to exist in this game. So fair enough, they didn't add it, whatever. However, now that we have all of the monsters since we went to the collection, if we go into our build unit, that'll allow us to edit what monsters are in our deck, so to speak. So we're going to get rid of Flame Manipulator. And as you guys can see, there's a Black Skull Dragon. And not only is he there, but he's got all of his stats. He's fully statted. He has an HP value, he has an attack and defense value, he has a movement pattern, and he has an attack pattern. Now, he does not have a special attack. That's one thing I noticed, is a lot of these monsters don't have special attacks. And some of them don't even have little board pieces when you're playing the game. They just have placeholders. Black Skull Dragon just so happens to have a piece. But for example, Blackluster Soldier. This is another monster that's not supposed to be in the game, but he's here. He's present in the game code, and he's acquirable through cheating. But he doesn't even have a little piece on the board. But he has a movement, he has an attack, he has his HP values, he has an attack value, a defense value. These monsters are all playable. Some of them have board pieces, some of them don't. But I find this really interesting that they cut a lot of these monsters, because some of these are monsters that I would have loved to see in this game. So for example, Kumori Dragon, or however you pronounce that name, he's another cool basic dark monster that would have been really nice to have in this game. Claw Reacher and Skull Stalker, two cards that I had honestly never heard of. They're kind of cool. Blast Sphere is another one that I don't think is supposed to be here. Metal Guardian's not supposed to be here. I don't believe Dark Elf is, but I could be wrong on that one. Pendulum Machine is not supposed to be here. Labyrinth Tank is not supposed to be here. Blackluster, Black Skull, Whiptail Crow. Now in the light section, I believe that one is not supposed to be here. Weather Control, Wing Egg Elf, Moon Envoy. Some of these monsters aren't as exciting as some of the other ones, like Guardian of the Throne Room, Ill Witch. Kaiser Dragon is another cool one that I thought was a really cool monster that could have been in this game for light symbol users. He does have a piece, so when he's on the map he actually has a model. He doesn't use a placeholder like some of these monsters do. And that also goes for Air Knight Parshath. Very cool monster. Would have been really cool to have him in the base game. And he has a piece. Moisture Creature's not supposed to be there. I have not used that one yet. Anything else other than the dark types, I have not used yet because I'm a dark type symbol user. But there's a lot of monsters in this game that are really cool that would have been nice to have in this base game, that are present in the code and are acquirable through cheating, but aren't actually in the game. Lord of the Lamp, Fire Eye, Hinatama Soul, Little Chimera, Vermilion Sparrow, Fire Kraken, Tactical Warrior, Robotic Knight. Fire kind of got shafted on this. They didn't really even get a whole lot of monsters that were cool. Same goes for water. They got Aqua Dragon, who has a piece. Catapult Turtle's another one they didn't put in the game. And then it's just a bunch of other little guys that honestly, I don't know if anybody really cares about these monsters. Maybe if you're a water type symbol user you might care. And maybe I'm late on this. Maybe everybody already knows about this. But I'm just now figuring this out. I found this yesterday by mistake because I wanted to have 5 Gate Guardians. And I didn't want to spend the time to make 5 Gate Guardians. and I accidentally discovered just all of these monsters that aren't supposed to be in the game that are there when you cheat for them. Which means they're obviously in the game's code, so why did we not see some of these monsters? Some of these monsters would have been really cool to have in the game, especially things like Black Skull Dragon, Harpy's Pet Dragon, Blackluster Soldier would have been really nice to see in the game. I mean, there's a couple other ones. There's not too many of them that I would have been super stoked to see. But either way, this just expands the roster. That's 70 more monsters that we could have been playing with all these years that are clearly there, but for some odd reason were cut. But the data is there. Machine King, he has a piece, which is really cool. But yeah, this data has been cut from the game. Even though it's kind of there, it's kind of not. They're not acquirable through normal means. However, they are acquirable if you don't mind cheating to get them. But I'm wondering why they would have left all of these monsters and all these different unfinished things within the game's code, but just not release them, because some of these would have been awesome. Machine King especially. I really like Machine King. I think he's a really cool monster. His little chess piece looks really cool. But yeah, all of these monsters are playable. You can put any of these extra monsters on the board. They play just like any other monster in the game, except for the now printing. I don't know what these three monsters are. There's a dark monster, a thunder monster. Yeah, it looks like a dark monster and two thunder monsters. And I don't know what they are or what they were supposed to be, but I would really like to know. So guys, I definitely recommend cheating this game just to get these extra monsters, especially if you've already played the game and you're just looking for something new to kind of spice up your roster. And I will say some of these monsters are a little overpowered, mainly in the dark category. Blackluster Soldier can move 4 squares diagonally and attack 2 in any direction. Black Skull Dragon is the same, except he only moves 3 diagonal. I think some of these monsters are a little broken. I think some of them are a little too strong to be in the game, in my honest opinion. But at the same time, they're really cool monsters, and I think, in my opinion, obviously, this is all opinion based, don't have to, agree with me. I think that if all of these monsters had been included, they would have balanced each other out, so then they wouldn't have been as broken. But since these monsters aren't in the game, maybe it feels like some of these other ones are a little more broken than others. I honestly am not sure. I do feel like some of them are broken a little bit, but hey, it's all in good fun. This isn't an online multiplayer game. You're not going to be hurting anybody by cheating. But it's definitely cool, and I like the fact that you're able to unlock more monsters, even if you have to cheat to do it. So anyways, guys, that's all I wanted to point out today. I know I've seen around the internet some other people have pointed this out. Anyways, if this video is entertaining, like, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys soon with another new video. Have a good day, guys.